in such a tense time, I don't need to get into the scolding that I gave my parents because they didn't really need it that badly. They didn't need much convincing. Dad, stay inside with all your albums and drum set. Okay,
Right.
like he was fine, but I'm I'm parked at a gas station in Scarborough where we grew up, Adam, and Adam backs into the spot.
Oh my God.
He backs into the spot next to me, and in big giant letters on the on the back of his truck, it just in all capital letters. It's cock.
Yeah, yeah, man. And the weirdest part about that was the fact that I was driving up the Don Valley Parkway when we were not going fast. By the way, the Wuhan shoe thing, I'm pretty sure is ubiquitous, where everybody knows what I'm talking about. But just in case anybody takes that the wrong way, I want to be
Right.
clear. It's the handshake that originated out of China because of COVID-19. And I believe there were a few people called it that. But listen, if I obviously meant nothing by it, but just want to clear that up before we talk about this. But I was ahead of me, and he's got this gigantic white, GMC pickup truck, which is quite a bit larger than the Honda Ridgeline that I drive. And so it's like pickup to pickup, and his is like 2 feet longer. And he rolls down his window, and in the politest possible tone, he says, someone wrote something inappropriate on the back of your car. And you can imagine that this guy, and he's very uncomfortable with it. Like, you can tell he's like, and I kind of stopped and said, like, not stop driving, but just sort of paused for a second and then said, well, what is it? And he's like, and he like kind of looks over to a second and he's like, it's cock. So apparently, anyway, so somebody, TJ and Jax have a theory because in the early mornings, I'm one of two Honda Ridgeline black ones that drive into our parking garage, and one of them belongs to a guy who's working on Richmond Street nearby. So people are wondering if people got their got the trucks mixed up, and if they did, it kind of sucks because I went through the car wash and it's still there because I didn't go through so because it doesn't hit the back tailgate properly. Now somebody in my DMs is giving me full on anxiety because he's like, man, I used to wash cars and that can scratch the paint and that might be there forever, which would be hilarious because then I have just the cock truck just driving around the neighborhood. But
it's not my truck, therefore it's funny.
I'm sure I could call my insurance company about that, but I think it would just be funnier to leave it, honestly. So yeah, it was honestly I kind of laughed and I thought, it's been a bit of a stressful week and for everybody. And I think, when we're talking about like, when you work from home, it's a little bit different when you're in audio and video, right? You can't, radio's job is to stay on the air no matter what. There could be bombs dropping and we're supposed to be on the air. And so, it's one of those things that, like, when you talk about moving something and you talk about completely changing up your routine and changing up how things go, and everybody handles that differently. And so our sort of setup here was sort of stressful, and I had to learn how to, connect to the station and everything else. So once all that was done and I'm driving up the DVP to see you and I'm, I've got this and this guy's telling me that there's a gigantic cock on the back of my truck. It just sort of cut the tension and made me laugh. And it was a nice moment. I don't know who he is, or I didn't get his name or whatever, but I hope he had a great day and told everybody he knew and laughed about it.